Hi all, it's me, Fuzz Piney.
Look at the front where it says Ames real big.
After 50 years in business, the Hardee's in Millvale is now just a memory. As Megan Shin shows us, now that the restaurant is closed, there's a hole in the neighborhood and in the hearts of many community members.
With the loss of this Hardee's here in Millvale, the next closest one is in Waynesburg, about an hour away. It's more than just an inconvenience to get to. It's a loss of a place that's near and dear to people's hearts. When people think of Millvale, they think of Hardee's.
Talking about it today in the past tense, it tugs at you a little bit.
Locals say it's a tradition to come here and to work here.
Took a little walk around the store back to my old biscuit station for one last look.
Former Mayor Jim Byrne and many others forced to say a sudden goodbye.
The doors were locked. They were doing drive-through only, which was out and down the block.
He says employees had only hours notice before shutting the doors for good yesterday.
I feel bad for the workers. I really hope that everything works out for them. That's very sad that they're in this situation.
A situation without a job, no more thick burgers, and signs saying closed, while another thanks customers for more than 50 years here.
I enjoyed it. Now I have to find another place to live. I'm 83 years old.
What do you think about it closing?
I think it's terrible.
Regulars like Bill Dreyer came here daily, even still tending to the building's flowers on his own time.
52 years. I've been sitting at that one table, and they said that if they have to remodel the building again, they was going to put my name on the table.
By the Millvale Business District, it's located at a confluence of 3 busy roads.
There is no way, in my opinion, that this facility is not a geographic gold mine.
Now it's an empty gold mine, Byrne, and hundreds on Facebook and in person couldn't help but wish a final farewell to. We spoke to the owner's son, who told us it was tough to close this place, but they appreciate how much it meant to the community. Meanwhile, Burns says that he hopes another place moves in here, but they don't know what it'll be yet. Reporting from Millvale, Megan Shin, KDK TV News.
All right, everyone. This is a video that, surprisingly, I waited to do. I never thought I would do it like this, but I'm here in Millvale, Pennsylvania, my hometown that I grew up in, just outside of Pittsburgh. And, one of the biggest staples in the community was Hardee's. And it closed recently. It closed about a month ago now. And, I knew eventually, with the way the chain is in general, that it would probably go. But I didn't expect it to go the way it did. Now, I waited to do this video for a little while because of the uncertainty of everything going on, rumors going around, and I wanted to gather enough information to do this video correctly. So, from what I understand, the owner of this place had been open for over 52 years in the town of Millvale. Everybody loved this. People would come from out of town to go to this Hardee's. Everybody talked about how awesome it was. And even though I didn't do fast food or Hardee's in general a whole lot, I'd stop here for breakfast maybe once a month, every other month. Stop here once or twice or so. I never really did lunch or dinner that much, but breakfast for sure. And everybody here was always very nice, very friendly, very nice, always. And I knew several people that worked here personally. And the reason it closed was the owner's health and age played a factor in it. And, as mad as people want to be at the owner, he tried to do it right. He tried calling up corporate to explain and trying to get another franchisee to take it over. None of them wanted to do it. And corporate didn't want to do it either. So corporate made him shut it down. And it's a really sad and pathetic way at how corporate does this type of stuff. He was forced to tell all of his employees about 2 hours before the end of their shift that they were out of a job. and that others weren't going to be working there anymore. So really shady practice, but as we've seen with other businesses, the same thing happened. You know, and I get both sides of this, where somebody's like, are you really going to tell somebody you're closing 2 weeks in advance and then they expect them to show up and work? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck or depend on it. You know, I certainly believe that people would keep coming to work here while looking for another job. It would give them an opportunity to do it. You know, not everybody's rich and can just say the heck with it and just leave whenever they want, you know. And I get some people do that for various reasons. But it was just a really sad way to close this place up like that, so abruptly like that. Secondly, one of the gentlemen that would be up here every single morning for a cup of coffee, you know, he would do the landscaping outside, and I'll show you that too when we walk around. He would do the flowers and water them and everything and make it look really, really nice here. Really, really nice every single day. And he told me after they closed up, he couldn't believe the amount of food that was just getting thrown into the dumpsters. They weren't allowed to give it away or sell it to anybody. Imagine that. All that food that went to waste inside of this restaurant could have went to food banks, could have sold it really cheap for people, you know, save them some money and just get rid of it instead of it just going into the dumpster and now a landfill. Just a darn shame. And it really irritates me because there are people that are hungry out there. But corporate told them they weren't allowed to give it out to anybody. And once again, I can see both sides of this. They might be worried that people get sick. They could get a lawsuit. If that's the case, make them fill out a waiver or, you know, tell them, hey, like, you're getting this as is. But it's just shameful because there's a lot of needy people out there that need food and they go hungry. And, you know, I know a few people myself. And it's just a darn shame. So today I'm going to get out of the car and walk around this place. I know I've been talking for quite a while. I'm going to walk around this place, share a couple of memories of mine from this place over the years, and see how it looks. So let's step outside and take a look at my childhood and lifelong Hardee's here in my hometown of Millvale, Pennsylvania. There you go. There's my old Hardee's. Knew a lot of people that worked here. The sign that says it all. Never thought this day would come like this. I had a feeling one day it would close, but because the company isn't doing so great. I mean, look at all the Hardee's and Carl's Jr.'s I filmed over the years. Now the landscaping, like I was saying, look how nice the flowers are here. Everything was always kept up really nice. They had benches out here with umbrellas. You could sit outside and eat. Always done really nice. The flowers were watered daily. And now here it is. That's what it looks like now. And they had awards up there for how good their service was. Everything. People that worked their entire careers here. There were a lot of times you'd see on the sign outside that celebrated somebody's birthday or anniversary, 40 years, 30 years, somebody's birthday. And I mean, excuse the language, but 90-minute notice for employees. Yeah, that's, I get it. I mean, you shouldn't vandalize, but I understand why people are mad. I really do. Let's take a look in here. There's the dining room. I enjoyed many meals in there over the years. As a matter of fact, in my teenage years, I would come up here on my mountain bike. I would ride up the sidewalk here because we lived right down the street. I'd come up here, and I remember when they had the chicken, I'd get the 2-piece chicken and fries and a biscuit and a drink. And I was going back home, and I got right to about where the wall is and hit that, like one of these ruts in the sidewalk, and my drink just flew right out of my hand and spilled all over the ground. And I came back in to go and buy another one, and they gave me one on the house because they saw it happen, which I thought was really nice. They also had a lot of classic car cruises in the parking lot as well. This is where they would have the banner that said celebrating 50 years in Millvale. And you'll get cars occasionally pulling up into the parking lot to find out that they're closed, like the van just did. You'd have the regulars that would come in every single day. They'd put the Steelers games on during the games. The news on in the morning. I enjoyed a few burgers here. Heck, the Easter Bunny would come here a lot. And when I was a kid, they would take up that parking lot on the other side and do Easter egg hunts over there, which was a lot of fun. They have the old signs on the walls. We've seen that at a few of the Hardees that we've done. And again with the landscaping, it was kept up really nice. And they had just renovated this entire restaurant just a few years ago. I think like 3 or so years ago, 4 years ago. It exposed the old label scar from out front, from the old logo. I actually took a picture of it. And now here we are. Even this got redone because they used to have the menus that would spin around. Right there on that LCD screen or LED screen, they had the menus that would spin around from breakfast to lunch. And now the drive-thru just has a cone in it. This would be the access to the kitchen right here. They had a couple of grease fires here. Millvale Fire Department and surrounding agencies will come and assist. They were closed for a little while with the one fire. They were closed for several days. And then in the more recent years, like I said, I would just mainly come here for breakfast. Come through here, they had advertisements here. I see people got mad and wrote some not so nice things. I mean, I don't blame them, to be honest. Getting absolutely no notice of closing like that, just being out of a job. But a buddy of mine that would always work the drive-through window, I'd come up in the yellow car a lot. He knew me because of the yellow car and where I work, and now that one, and he'd always throw something extra in for me. Always very nice. He was just telling me how he was just on vacation too, and it's like, man, can you imagine being on vacation and then finding out you're out of a job now like that? Really crappy. There are times I sat in here. I remember getting out of the hospital after I had a real bad injury. And I sat in here and just ate just to, you know, be out of the house, be out of the hospital, and just sit there in that booth right here on the right-hand side up against the wall there under that red light. When I had a surgery done, I came up here for one of the classic car shows that they would do. They would fill up this whole parking lot with cars, even in the middle, have music playing. So many people would come out, and I wasn't supposed to be walking at the time, but I did anyway. And my doctor was pretty mad at me for doing that. Yeah, I had a surgery on my lower back, and I had stitches in, and I wasn't supposed to be walking, but I walked from the house up to here. And walked around the car show and sat inside for a little bit. It was quite painful to sit, but I was able to do it. And I got scolded pretty good by my doctor for that one, because he specifically said, do not be walking excessively. And I'm like, I can't help it. Maybe that's what went wrong with me. I don't know. But up here in the back of the parking lot is where the dumpsters would be. They had this picnic bench here for employees to go on smoke breaks, and this is where the woods would go down into what we call the creek. The creek, anyway, Gertie's Run, which runs along here, goes under the road, and actually when I'm filming this, it's actually 2 days after the 21st anniversary of Hurricane Ivan and the terrible flooding that it did here in Millvale. It caused so much damage here. Even up here, it flooded everything. But yeah, back here is where runoff would go down into the creek, and where a lot of people go down there too. And you see a lot of garbage back here. But yeah, this is what it looks like. This was our local Hardee's. And it just bums me out that nobody wanted to pick this one up because it did such good business. It always did really wonderful business all the time. And one of the rumors I heard about it closing too is because they wouldn't stay open late. This restaurant would usually close at 9 or 10 o'clock. And before COVID, they would stay open till at least 10 or sometimes 11. But in the evening, it really wouldn't warrant being open. There wouldn't be enough traffic here. You know, you got a lot of taverns and bars. People go there. Or, you know, it's a working town. A lot of people are done for the day. They're in and done for the day. So a lot of people wouldn't be out. This place would be a ghost town by 9, 10 o'clock. So I thought it was appropriate that they closed at that time. But during the day, this place would always be busy. The lunch rush, the morning, every time I came up here, you always saw cars in that drive-through, cars parked on the other side, and a few over here. But since COVID, more people would go through the drive-through than anything else. But it's just a darn shame that this closed. And hopefully this video brings some attention to Hardee's corporate and they get somebody else out here to reopen this, because people love this place. The whole community did. Everybody in the Pittsburgh area loved it. It was the last one. There's one in Waynesburg, PA, about an hour away, and nobody's going to drive down there for Hardee's. I'm sorry. With all the other options you have in nearby Ross Township and Shaler, Pittsburgh, and all the surrounding communities, nobody's going down there for fast food. But you had something good here, and you threw it away when the owner said he couldn't do it anymore. So as mad as people want to be at the owner, it's not exactly his fault. It's corporate's fault, which I'm not shocked. But you know what? Hardee's has always been known to be a company with really questionable management skills. I mean, from the way they run restaurants to their advertising. Who can remember when they sexed up all of their advertisements many years ago, having women in bikinis eating burgers? Really appetizing, right? No. So, I don't know. I guess Hardee saw it as a way to say, hey, sex sells, so let's try it. Pissed off a lot of people that way. But anyway, enough about that. Hardee's, if you're listening, reopen this restaurant. Get another franchisee, or you guys take it over at corporate. You had a really good restaurant here, and you threw it away. Anyway, with that said, guys, I'm signing off. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to some stories and rants. And for every employee in here that worked up until the final day, and everyone that retired and who was a part of this restaurant for all the years, thank you for everything you did. I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors in life, and I hope to see you again. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult now with me living out in New Jersey, but I still pop into town here and there and have to work here for now, so hopefully I'll see you all again. And corporate, shame on you. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Take care and stay awesome again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.